Hello everyone, I'm PandaLemonTart and welcome back to another video. And today I'll be building in Bloxburg for the first time in a year. Yes, you heard that right. I have not built in this game for a whole year. And sometimes I do wonder if I'm still any good at it. So let's find out together, shall we? It has been so long since I last spoke to you guys like this, and it's definitely making me feel all nostalgic and bittersweet. So much has happened in my life since I last built in Bloxburg, and I went to so many places and even managed to travel so far and wide. One of the countries I've been to for the past year was Japan, and I'm sure you might remember me trying to post the last episode of Heart's Diaries overseas, but a bunch of things happened to me, like tearing a tendon in Japan, which ultimately ruined the whole trip for me. And of course, it left a portion of you guys feeling really frustrated with me for not posting the last episode on time. Despite all of that, I still managed to enjoy the trip somehow, specifically the views and the simple architecture of modern suburban Japan. In this build right now, I am building a Japanese street that will house, well, a few houses, apartments, restaurants, and other businesses like a convenience store. Right here, I am focusing on our first build, which will be an apartment. I decided that it was gonna be 3 stories tall, but the first floor will have a lobby, office, and the apartment's laundromat. And because it is an apartment, it would be criminal to not have a balcony to go with it, and you might see me fiddling with a bunch of objects and items that may or may not be new to Bloxburg. It's been so long since I last built in Bloxburg that I started forgetting if certain items existed in Bloxburg or not. And I'll be honest, while I was taking a break from Roblox, I mainly focused my energy around Sims 4, and building there is a bit different. The next thing we'll be adding to this apartment is some flower beds. Japan might seem like a concrete jungle, and for the most part, it is. But there is quite a few potted plants here and there, and I definitely wanted to show that here. When I entered Bloxburg for the first time in months, I had an absolute field day seeing all of the new items they added. I fell in love with this drive-through window. I don't know, I just love the shape of it. It's so perfect for this build because it looks like the windows the houses had in Japan. Next up is coloring the outside of our apartment, and I didn't want to do anything too vibrant, so I just stuck with muted colors like white and a hurricane gray. I think it's hurricane gray, I'm not so sure anymore. Also, there's this player that entered my neighborhood. They've been watching me build and I just let them stay. Now they made this whole concert area. I'm not sure what it is, but their avatar is so funny. Now, let's not forget the vending machines because these were so prevalent in Japan, it's actually insane. They have vending machines for absolutely anything. Toys, food, you name it. Everything. Throughout this build, you will surely see me add a lot of those. Public transport was also a very big thing, so we need to add a bus stop. Though we didn't use buses when we were there, we mostly used the subway, and I wanted to add a train to this build, which I think I will at the end. We just have quite a few more buildings to go, and it's actually so surprising how slow I became with building. In this video, I built 2 of the 8 buildings for this plot, and it took me 7 hours. A whooping 7 hours to do all that, and these were quite basic builds. I just really need to retrain myself with building in Bloxburg. I have skipped to the part where I added a bunch of plants and trees as well as some clutter on the balcony, and I'm talking about the towels. I also added some bins on the side. Before we get to the inside of the apartment, I wanted to quickly finish off the exterior of the convenience store next door. Yes, we are working with a 7-Eleven, though in Japan, their popular convenience stores, I think it was called Lawson's, I think. And boy, did I buy so much from there. In fact, Lawson sustained me for a good 8 days. That's where I bought all my food, all my snacks, everything. I loved it. though it was quite a bit unhealthy to be eating cup noodles like every day, 24/7. Here I'm just adding some bikes. I had to opt for the cheaper bikes because I did not want to blow our whole budget on just bikes. I of course had to make a custom bike parking thingy where they can lock their bikes on the railing. A lot of people bike to get around in Japan is something that I noticed. Using structurals, I added the little iconic line thingies for the 7-Eleven buildings, and we also had to include the logo. I wanted to do a Lawson's at first instead of a 7-Eleven, but I just knew that 7-Eleven had more decals on Roblox most likely, and I did not want to risk getting banned trying to upload something on Roblox. It has happened to me quite a few times, so I'm a little bit more cautious now. You can watch me attempt to do some electricity poles now. These are a staple in my builds. There's not one build where they are not included, but I did have a look around my builds after a while, and a lot of them could use more detailing, especially when it came to these electrical poles or whatever you call them. So you see me here really trying to make these look as detailed as much as possible. I think the end result ended up quite nicely though. Also, these new cars eat. I remember circa 2021 where we had the same set of cars for a while and they'd come up with like a new one once in a year maybe. But now there's like 2 cars per update, which I really love. Some of them you can buy with tickets, which I actually hate, but who am I to complain? This car, by the way, I kid you not, all the cars in Japan look like that. They kind of have this small cartoony boxy looking physique to them, and it's honestly so cute. Now let's get into the decorating because I'm afraid that I dragged this on for far too long. If you're asking about the wall color and the floor color, it's just linen and white, honestly. We like to keep things minimalistic. Here you will see me add some tiled carpet to a portion of the ground floor. This will be our little laundromat. And for the reception, I opted for an open counter design where there's no glass separating the tenants and the work office space. I feel like I always add glass there because I'm traumatized from all of the role plays where the customers jump over the counters, but for this one, I'll leave it open. I also want to add a little counter area for people wanting to have some cup noodles while waiting for their laundry or something, maybe. If you've seen my community post, you would know how much I struggled with this. I really felt like I was out of practice. Everything I did felt so basic, but at the same time, the Japanese modern aesthetic sticks to the basics and the minimalism. So whenever I wasn't satisfied with what I was seeing, I wasn't sure if the theme was to blame or my lack of skills. I've generously added some seating areas aside from the stools and a vending machine somewhere in the lobby. Now, what I'm about to add is the office ceiling using basic shapes because I think to make it look somewhat interesting, it would be nice to change the usual dimensions of a room. Maybe it had a lower ceiling or some split leveling, which you will see me do for the laundry room. I'm adding a lot of greens right now as well, and I wasn't feeling the white walls too much for the lobby, so I started adding some color here and there. Now, I really took my time here. Just this lobby alone lasted a good 2.5 hours, which is a whole Harry Potter film. How do I know that? Because I started watching the whole movie series again on a portable DVD player. Now, the reason why I'm still using a DVD player to this day is because of TikTok, okay? A post on TikTok freaked me out about how we no longer own stuff anymore, and that's a bit broad, but what they were saying is in terms of movies. Back then, you would buy the DVD and it would be yours forever. But now, because streaming services are such a big thing, you don't really own movies anymore. You just watch it from these services, and if they decide to remove it, then they remove it and you can't access it again. So I took that as a sign to buy a cheap DVD player from my local department store, and I was so surprised that they still sold them. I remember my childhood was just full of these stuff, the DVD players, the discs, and how you can't let anything touch the bottom, otherwise it would get scratched and not work anymore. Or when it stops working and you take the disc out, you fog it with your breath and gently wipe the bottom of it before returning it into place. I miss my childhood so much, man. When things weren't as complicated, and my biggest problem was my Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princess disc was not working. Good old times. Now, back to our laundromat. I made sure to add one of these because I did my laundry in Japan like every day. It was just so convenient. Everything in Japan is so convenient and easy. So when I landed there, to my surprise, everyone was not showing any skin. And I only brought short skirts. And just so I don't get stared at, I alternated between my leggings, which I wore under the skirt, and that is why I had to do laundry every day. And trust me, you cannot make me do laundry at home. I will stand there with a 1-month-old pile of dirty clothes in my hamper and not touch it. But tell me why, when I was in Japan, I was even asking my siblings if they needed their clothes washed. I really surprised myself. We have two-bedroom apartments in this building, and I'm renting them out to you guys. So right now, I have added the basic stuff you would need there, like the kitchen and a toilet. But like I said, I'll be renting these 2 apartments out to you guys. You don't have to pay or anything, but anyways. So please type down in the comments below your character's little backstory, okay? Keep in mind that you only have 2 bedrooms to work with. So please add information like your character's personality, if they have friends over often, if they're a mess, if they're going through stuff, etc. I'll be picking 2 people or characters from that, and I'll be furnishing your apartment and doing a reveal in the next video. Anyways, I'm fixing up a little bit of the exterior here because I think it's a little bit dry. So adding pipes here and there, you know how it is. Now we are up to the convenience store next door, also known as a 7-Eleven. Convenience stores there are so prevalent, it's insane. There's only like 1 every 2 streets. That's a lot. And the food is also really good. Like how? Who makes them? Why do they taste so fresh? Do they come in deliveries? Why are there so many food selections? I have so many questions. Like I said before, convenience stores sustained the hell out of me there, and I was living for it. Our space for this convenience store was very small, and I had to make do with what we had, so it is quite cramped, which is pretty accurate now that I'm thinking about it. Convenience stores are not hard to make in Bloxburg, but they do take a long time to just stock up. I made sure we had everything from toiletries, snacks, vending machines, eggs, and let's not forget the food I was hyping up a while ago. I spent a good 5 minutes trying to make some cup noodles or ramen. It's just a bit annoying that we can't place it unless it's cooked, so that's what I had to do. We are making some dangos right now as well. I did not eat some dangos in Japan. No, I did not. It is one of the very few Japanese foods we have available in Bloxburg though, so we had to add it. They also had some chicken here and there, so I made some barbecue skewers to represent. Skewers? Skewers, that's a weird word. I added all of this at the front near the counter, but just letting you know that usually they would have a whole wall dedicated to all of the foods like this. But this will do. Our 7-Eleven here is a smaller franchise, and that's okay. After all of that, I should have been done, but I was not impressed with how the outside turned out. So of course, I had to take it upon myself to do a little bit more decorating, like adding billboards, clotheslines, trees here and there. To be fair, I'm only doing this for the sake of the tour video. Most likely certain trees will be deleted because this isn't a finished build yet, and we still have a lot to add. So welcome to Midorihama Street, or if we want to call it by its correct Japanese name, Midorihama Ekimae Dori. The end part is basically telling us that this street is near a train station. So that's my little clue for you guys on where this is going. So let's take the tour. This is our beautiful bus stop. It's so cute. Our little car at the front because there's a lack of, parking spaces. And this could have been a parking space, but I guess I was like, okay, no, that's gonna be where the bins are. I don't know why I have caged bins, but this is the lobby. Very chic, okay, very minimalist. I really love it. I really hope the open design isn't gonna backfire because I know that role players are just gonna jump in. It's actually annoying me right now, but this is the laundromat. As you can tell, I did do that split level thing where it's a little bit higher than the lobby. And let's go upstairs, shall we? No, we don't have stairs for this build. We do have this beautiful elevator though, and I hope that's enough for you guys. Let's go in. So this is what the apartments look like, okay? And remember, I am renting this out. No, you don't have to pay. Disclaimer. I'm renting this out to 2 of your characters. So please let me know down below who wants to move in here. Come on, like, you know, give me some stories. This is the 2nd bedroom. I know it's small. I know. But we're just gonna have to make do. You get a balcony as well. And as you can probably tell, upstairs, there's a whole clothesline thing going on. So whoever gets like the upstairs area, they're just gonna have to have a lot of clothes, you know, like, I mean, what can I do? It's already there. I like how this ended up, honestly. It's very small, and most likely just to keep with the Japanese theme, I might put your beds a little bit closer to the floor, because they don't have like the high beds, or sometimes they do, so who knows. Like I said, if you live on the top floor, you're getting the a lot of clothes, babes. Like, what can I say? Okay, so going back downstairs, again, I would like to apologize for the fact that you do not have a fire exit or fire stairs. You're just gonna have to jump out of the balcony, I'm guessing. So moving into our 7-Eleven. My gosh, this is making me feel so nostalgic. You know, it's been only like what, 7 months since I've been to like Japan, but this is making me want to go back there. I loved it so much. I love the smell of it. It didn't really smell like much, but I don't know why I'm saying that, but I really like it. I don't know. Everything was so convenient and cheap. Everything was so cheap. Like, why was it so cheap? Like, it's good for tourists because it's really affordable in my opinion. Oh, I did put a storage room over there, just letting you know. Realistically, we would have a lot more vending machines, but sadly, we were a little short on space. Okay, so that's it for this build. Honestly, if you want to know more about it, we're gonna add a train at the back, okay? But I don't know if I should tell you more, okay? Because I'm adding more to this build, but I'm glad that you're here with me and that you watch this video, because I know that a lot of you guys have left since I've been so inactive, and that's totally fine and all, but I'm so grateful for the people who have stayed. I will be finishing off this build, so there will be more videos. Sorry if it's not frequent though. I am trying my best. But yeah, thank you so much guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye! P.S. I completely forgot to tell you, but I want to start this whole trend where people start building on only the front of their plot, so it looks like a big street, if you get what I mean. And then we fill the whole neighborhood, Bloxburg neighborhood, up with these builds. And so it's just like Bloxburg, but it's like a really big town. Yep, that's all. Thank you.